Nowadays, most of us are either growing horizontally or vertically, but not actually growing up in life. It's just a myth that people tend to grow up mentally as they age. But if that was the case, everyone would have become philosophers or thought leaders. People tend to say this all the time: dude, please grow up. Please grow up. Maybe you're sick of hearing this, but no one will actually tell you how to actually grow in life. In this video, I'm gonna share with you how to skyrocket your growth using chaos and order. Hi, my name is Jafin and I'm an aspiring psychology student. I'm making this video because 2 to 3 years ago, I was actually feeling stuck in my life. I was busy leveling up my in-game character, not my real character. And then some emotionally significant event happened in my life, which I cannot share right now. And I was forced to develop my personality and my character. So I have searched a lot of things in internet and I applied many things. To be honest, I have actually grown physically and mentally afterwards. So I'll be sharing these same kind of tips which I use so that those who are feeling stuck in life can benefit from it. So we'll be diving into what is order and what is chaos. In case if you don't know, these two are the two preconditions for growth. I'm not diving deep into this nuanced definition because there are a lot of definitions like philosophical definition, psychological definition, but those are too deep. I'll be simplifying it for you. So first, what is chaos? Just imagine that it's your first day in college and you went to the college and a lot of buildings, there is a lot of scenery in the college. You don't know what the buildings are, you don't know what the class is, you don't know what the toilet is, everything is unfamiliar to you. You are thinking of your new friends. Oh, I'm gonna meet my new friends and how are they gonna be like? Will they accept me? Things like that. So you actually kind of stressed. So this is one example for chaos. And another example is you having a conversation with a stranger. A stranger is unpredictable, you don't know how he behaves. Another example is you reading a book on an unfamiliar subject. Reading is actually kind of chaotic because it actually pushes your understanding. It pushes your schema, which means you will be having a set of beliefs in your brain, and when you're injecting a new idea into the brain, that means there will be some form of internal conflicts in your brain. I'll just give an example for that. Just imagine there's a group of fish who are close knit friends, and then two other new fishes come to that group. Two fishes in that group have some enmity between the new two fishes, so they left the group. In that way, when new ideas come to your brain, it's challenging your pre-existing ideas. Sometimes the ideas which are similar to the new ideas will be sticking and the other ideas will be leaving. And when you are learning a new skill, that is also a form of chaos. So let's dive deep into what is order. Order is something which is very familiar to you, just predictable to you, routinistic for you. Let's go back to the college example. It's been 1 year that you have been going to that college. You know every building, you know the surroundings, you know your friends much better which you made 1 year ago, you know everything about their secrets, everything. So it's a kind of order, and then you have a routine going to that college. Like you get up in the morning, you go to the college and come back, things like that. It's a routine. So that is also order. And another example is you're reading the same book which you read 2 months back. You're reading the same book cover to cover after finishing it. It won't be challenging your schema, so it's a kind of order. So you got to know what is order and what is chaos. So the fun is in balancing both these two forces. So this is posited by Jordan B. Peterson. According to him, you should place your one foot in order and one foot in chaos. In that way you find balance, and finding balance means you'll find growth and you'll find meaning. So that is Jordan Peterson's idea, and it worked well for me. Let's take the opposite example. Let's imagine if you are putting two legs in order, both of your legs in order. So how does that look like? What does too much order looks like? So just imagine every day you are going to the school. So you get up in the morning, then go to school, and you learn nothing because you're not interested in it. You are dreaming about playing Subway Surfers in the night time. After school, you don't even talk to your friends. You just come straight back to your house and then you start playing Subway Surfers. Subway Surfers is not a creativity fostering game because there's nothing new in that game, because you either swipe left, you swipe right, you swipe up and down. There's nothing new. This is the example for too much order. So let's take the example for too much chaos, or putting two legs in chaos. How does that look like? So when you're having too much chaos in your life, it's like you're changing your job every week, or you're changing your school every week. On the first week you are an electrician guy, then the next week you are a plumber, next week you are a businessman, and next week you are a Formula 1 racer. If that was the case, you won't be having any time to cope with adversity. You'll be fully stressed out because you cannot do anything, because every day it's changing too much. and it's unbearable and overwhelming for you. So that is the example for too much chaos. So you know how too much order and too much chaos looks like. So the tip is to find balance between them. I'll share a story of how I found balance between chaos and order in my life. When I was in +1, I was very fat. And then I was actually very lazy. I was playing video games. So, my friend Ronald introduced me to gym, and it was like a pilot's cabin. It was full of dumbbells. It was full of machines which I'm not familiar with. Yeah, it was chaos, fully chaotic. I was anxious, and 3 to 6 months I became habituated to gym. I lost my weight, and then I established order. Then I started lifting heavier than previously. It's called progressive overload. I mean, if you are lifting 5 kilos, then the next day you are lifting 7.5 kilos. So in that way, I induce some form of chaos into my life. So you'll have to push till your maximum when you're doing that. And then 1 year later, I started reading. And reading is also, as aforementioned, it's also a form of chaos. And it also kind of became it also became habituated. Even though I'm getting new ideas, it was more of an order. And then 1 year after that, I started speed reading. I mean, I still don't know speed reading that much, but I started doing the steps which are necessary for speed reading, which means while you're reading, I want to visualize. Then I cannot sub-vocalize, which means I cannot say the internal monologue in my head. It is very challenging. I'm challenging myself, and that's how I'm inducing some chaos into my routine. And now I went to public speaking academy, and it was also a kind of chaotic because as you all know, public speaking is one of the greatest phobias in the world. So it also kind of became habituated for me. And then now I'm trying to build this YouTube thing. So I want to be consistent with YouTubes, and it is also some form of chaos. Let's dive deep into what are the actionable steps that we can do to find the balance between order and chaos. So the first step is to read more. It's because it pushes your understanding. It expands your horizon. It widens your perspective. And one cool fact about books is that you'll actually start to find shortcuts in life. I'll just give a concrete example for it. I used to go to Christ College through a long route because I didn't know that there was a shortcut till that time. And then after getting to know of the shortcut, I started going in that new way. So in that way, when you find new informations in the book, you're actually finding shortcuts in life. You won't take the long route next time. Then the next thing is you can try to learn new skills. This world is actually going in a very fast pace. In 1990s, only a few people used to use computer. And now, most of the people use computer, and they have computers in their hand, small mobile. You'll have to be up to date with it. So learn new things. Now you have introduced yourself to some chaos by reading something new and developing new skills. Now it's time to establish the order. How do you do that? So first of all, you can actually set some goals, predictable goals. So by setting some goals, you'll actually get some form of predictability about where the fuck you are going. So in that way, you'll establish order. When it comes to setting goals, you should actually write down the goals. It's because when you are writing down the goals, you're actually making a commitment to yourself that you are gonna perform this thing in the future. So one fun fact about human beings is that we are more likely to stick to our commitments, and it's a human nature to align with our commitment. So writing down would help with that a lot. So another thing is that set goals only for a quarter. Don't set annual goals. That's rubbish, because this time frame of annual goals are this much and quarters are this much. So you'll be having a lot of uncertainty when it comes to annual goal setting. You won't be planning for 1 year. That is too overwhelming for you. So the other benefit of setting a quarterly goal is that you have the luxury of having a deadline. And if you don't know, deadline will push your performance. I'll just give you a concrete example. In a football match, towards the inception, the players will be playing in a non-serious way, they'll be passing the ball among the defenders. But when it's towards the end, if the timer reaches 90 minutes, they'll be running around the field like a chicken whose head is cut off. So actually, deadline is a good thing, and use it to your advantage. So I'll be making a new video related to periodization or deadline effect. Now you have introduced yourself to chaos, and you have even established some form of order. And what you can do next is to establish even more order by using timetables and routine. When you make a timetable for yourself, you're actually shifting your thinking. For example, you'll be thinking like this. You'll be having all sort of things planned. So you won't be thinking what to do next. And instead of thinking like that, you'll be thinking how to do it in the best way possible. So I personally use Notion calendar for scheduling my day, and you can actually use Google Calendar, which is even more simplified. If you want to accelerate your progress and to make things a little bit more hardcore, you can actually set up an alarm for each task that you're going to do. For example, if you want to read, you can put an alarm at 7 p.m. and it will remind you to read. That's a very good thing. So now you have found the balance between chaos and order. Now you're putting your one foot in chaos and one foot in order by exposing yourself to chaos first and then establishing order afterwards by setting some goals and making some routine. One final advice: don't get too comfortable with something. So be in a constant pursuit for challenge. Now New Year is around the corner and it's your time to set some goals and make some habits and routines. And it's time for you to put yourself in chaos. If you have watched this video so far, you must be interested in the mindset that is necessary for growth. I've made a video on that subject. You can click here. I'll be making more videos on this self-improvement topic. So stay tuned.